As always, it's a time for statements, it's a time for heroes. It's time for the Scottish Cup final. Can Aberdeen overcome massive odds and take the cup to Pittodrie for the first time since 1990? Or will it be Celtic, the holders, resounding favourites, James McFadden?
Yeah, all signs point towards Celtic. Massive favourites, going to try and complete a treble. It would be a remarkable season. And Aberdeen, not in the best of form coming into the game, but it is a cup final. There's been a change of shape for Jimmy Tilleen, and it's all about how Aberdeen are against the ball and also how they use the ball when they get it. But Celtic heavy favourites, and you can understand why.
Do you give Aberdeen a chance, Leanne?
I think in any cup final you give every team a chance. As James alluded to, the change in shape I think could help Aberdeen this afternoon, making sure that they're right in the game, that they get as close as they can in terms of the duels all over the pitch, that they're defensively robust and strong, and they get the flexibility to jump from a really defensive shape into an attacking shape when they get the numbers to go forward. So yeah, I think Aberdeen will look to try and make it a proper cup tie this afternoon.
Early foul by Antti Palaversa on Bernardo. I feel the Dons have to be in the match from the very start. Although they thought they were in the match during the League Cup semi-final, around about half an hour the floodgates opened. 0-0 after 30 minutes, Celtic were 3-0 up by the break. Can score goals in gluts. Can be crowned again Scottish champions. Johnston out to Nicholas Kuhn. Among the scorers in that League Cup semi. Maida got a hat-trick that day. Scales, that lone spell at Aberdeen 2 years ago, helped them finish third. He was part of a back three during that successful close to the season under Barry Robson. First feel of the ball for Maida then. Made by the on-loan Spurs centre-back Dorrington. Bernardo for Taylor. Carter Vickers for Johnston. One of the top assisters in the Premiership this season, the Canadian. Really important what Celtic want to do with the fullbacks. Here is Taylor again. Dorrington clears. Engels to Johnston. Breaks down, and Aberdeen will be quite happy to see that if it continues.
Absolutely. You can see the clear intent for Aberdeen to get back into their shape and try and get doubled up in the wide areas. Nicky Devlin, playing as the left wing back. I thought he'd play as the right, but it makes sense because Kuhn wants to cut in on that left foot. And Alistair Johnson, we so often see him making the run inside. Nicholas Kuhn, he's made a couple of overlaps. Nicky Devlin's then had to take the run, and Leighton Clarkson's the one that's coming over. It's going to be a hell of a shift for that three in midfield for Aberdeen to continue that. Having to go and pick up Engels in the midfield, and then when the ball goes out to then match the overlap of Alistair Johnson or the runner of Kuhn coming inside. So it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I'm sure they didn't expect anything less.
I can't remember the last time I saw Nicky Devlin playing on the left side. He's been out of the team recently as well. That right back place taken off him by Jensen, who's there again today.
I think because Jensen has played there, we expected it to be Jensen, but I get it. For Kuhn cutting inside, Nicky Devlin is a strong 1v1 defender.
Pressure from Keskinen. Dilly-dallied a little bit there, the big Irishman.
I think the speed of ball is really important with Celtic just now. They're not moving it quick enough to really cause Aberdeen too many problems, so it's given, as James had alluded to as well, those central midfielders, it becomes a real big shift if Celtic move the ball side to side really quickly. They've not managed to do it yet.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Johnston felt he should have got a free kick there. It's going to be an Aberdeen free kick in the end up.
Makes that run we're so used to seeing, Alistair Johnston. It's difficult. There's a little pull on him. Not so sure. I know that that's not a foul on Shinnie, but we know that's one of his trademark moves.
I believe it's called the shinny. 10 years on from that Cally Thistle victory against Falkirk. Incredible that a decade's flown by since then. Talking about fullbacks on the opposite side, Graham Shinnie started that final at right back. A terrific tifo that the Aberdeen fans displayed before kick-off of the city's crest. A lot of work went into that. You've seen that in the pre-match pictures. Helping Aberdeen's underdog status is the fact they haven't won any of the last 30 meetings against Celtic from back to May 2018. Johnston looping it onto the head of Engels. Play by Canuster. "13 assists for Alistair Johnston this season. It's good shooting for a right back.
Yeah, not bad stats at all. He's a huge part of the way Celtic play, and you can already see in the early part of the game the height that he wants to take in the pitch, how much he wants to join in, not just in the build-up play, but that end product in the final third.
Carter Vickers are just enough on that to get it back to Schmeichel. Taylor for Maida. 33 goals for Daisen Maida this season. 12 assists on top of that. Plus one for his country. Callum McGregor there, so often the metronome of this Celtic side. It's calmly dealt with by Jack Milne, who's making his first start for Aberdeen since December. First ever appearance for them in the Scottish Cup. A time and place to manage to get yourself into the side. McGregor for Ida. Leaves it for Engels, behind Bernardo. Celtic will come again. Fresh off their 4th successive title success. Well by Johnston off Nisbet. It's been pretty wet in Glasgow over the course of the last 24 hours. It's a slick surface. Tends to favour attacking players after a month of no rain at all.
You see the intent and aggression from Aberdeen, particularly when it goes to the feet of Maida and Kuhn. Jensen and Devon are desperate to get tight, try and force them back, and so far they've had a little bit of success with it. It's difficult to keep that tempo and that aggression. Celtic will knock the ball about and wait for that one moment, that one chance when you switch off.
Clear shove there by Arne Engels. Club record signing. He arrived last summer from Augsburg in Germany. 10 minutes in, Celtic on 80% possession.
Yeah, which is no surprise because you expect Celtic to start the game like that, and I think it will suit Aberdeen just now offering up possession, even offering up territory, just to allow themselves to grow into the game. As I mentioned, I think those drills all over the pitch are vitally important in the early part of the game. But the bit from Aberdeen that they will need to grow on and build on is that, yes, you can be aggressive in those full-back areas. It's when you win it back.
The give and go between Clarkson and Nisbet. Jensen, Scales recovers sufficiently.
Those bits, when you win it back, what you do with next, making sure that when you get into that final third that you make the ball stick, that you can enjoy possession for a spell in the game that allows you to then build that confidence and build your own momentum within it. If you're going to go and carry a goal threat, you need to find those layers, but very early on.
There's another example of it. Graham Shinney, he's got it down to a T.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, the aggression is there from Cal McGregor. Shinney spots it. I mean, there is two hands in the back, and he doesn't need any invitation to go down. And it is clever because the pressure is on there from Celtic. Nicky Devlin, you look, he was high and wide in the left-hand side, and Aberdeen are trying to get out. But Celtic are well aware they've got an opportunity to press. And Leanne's point's excellent. Aberdeen do need to get on the ball, and they need to knock some passes. And we talk about Celtic as this team that are so good on the ball, but they're so good without it as well. The way they press, the way they hunt to get the ball back, force mistakes. So it's a very, very difficult, catch-22 for Aberdeen. Do you spend time with the ball, or do you try and get it in behind and squeeze the game up?
He's won 14 out of 14 here. Celtic manager. A couple of them were close shaves over the last 12 months against Aberdeen here. 13 months. Semi-final of this tournament last April. League Cup final against Rangers, both of which went to a shootout. So that semi-final, Aberdeen scored first, and that could be crucial. Miovski scored early.
Crucial for Aberdeen. I think that they've shown at times this season where when they concede first, that they find it difficult to adjust. So for them and their belief, it's crucial for them. I don't think it will have a massive impact on Celtic, but certainly will on Aberdeen.
Ball's in behind Jensen for Maida. It looked like he was going for the corner. It's kept in by Jensen. Can he start? Fouled by Kuhn. Aberdeen fans are looking for further punishment to be meted out to Kuhn here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see it back. Certainly our vantage point from here, not clearing the initial challenge. No, not too much more. I think the foul will suffice. This pass from Greg Taylor, lovely rate of pass, accuracy, excellent play from Celtic.
Comes to Maida, you can see Ida inside. He needs to try and flash that in front, and that is the little warning for Aberdeen, because they have been aggressive and they have got tight, and at times when it's come into the feet of Maida and Kuhn, they've been able to either win it or force them back. But that's the danger, the timing of when you go tight, because we know the speed that both those players have. We know the outlet that Maida is in particular down this left hand side. Just a little warning.
Aberdeen not coming into this in great shape, lost their last 4 league matches, eventually finishing 5th in the Premiership. If they were to upset the odds today, though, forget all about that. They would be guaranteed European League stage football for the next season. Celtic win, spoils go to Hibs. Down on the touchline, and then Knooster penalised.
I think that's what's known as a shinny.
Yes. What it has done, it's presented Celtic with an opportunity to load the box here. Sky's free kick goes wrong, but Bernardo is able to recycle it. Engels have got Kuhn down the line here. The Celtic side is they will just keep doing this until they find a way through. Aberdeen stay concentrated. By Milne. It's a boxing fight. Aberdeen just trying to get through the first few rounds.
Yeah, but haven't been many blows landed either. You know, Celtic, as you say, they're happy to knock the ball about and move side to side and probe and try and get that opening without being able to create that opportunity.
There might be one here. Maida across. Shinnie dumps it away. This is a team that's averaging 3 goals a game this season, across the whole season, across all competition.
We all know, watching Celtic, how quickly games can change. I mean, it feels just now a little bit flat, a little bit tentative, but they can turn it on. It just takes one moment, one pass, one run.
First covering was Milne, but it will be at the expense of the first corner of the final, which goes to Celtic.
I think that's massive. You know, there's lots of runs from players and maybe the pass is on but it's not played, but what it's doing is disrupting Aberdeen and thinking, right, maybe the ball's not coming, do I need to match that run? And eventually, you know, the danger is that they switch off and Celtic get that space, and that's why they keep probing, they keep the ball and they wait for that perfect opportunity.
This is where the first goal in the League Cup semi here came from. It was Carter Vickers who scored it that day, and he was interested there as well on the 6-yard line. Aberdeen survive. I think he was fouled there by the look of that.
It has his arms round him, Jack Milne, but I'm not so sure how big an impact that is. You can see Carter Vickers trying to hold his position.
I think Carter Vickers has got a grip of Jack Milne's shots as well. I think they're both at it.
No place in the Aberdeen squad today for Jamie McGrath, who's heading to Easter Road next season. Turned down a 3-year deal at Aberdeen in favour of a 4-year contract at Hibs.
The manager had said he was unavailable, and you know, you have to believe that, because whether he starts or he's on the bench, he's a great option to have. And I know, you know, he's leaving the club, but he's a professional, and you can see when he comes on in games or when he plays games how good a player he is. So you have to believe that he was unavailable, because he is a player that certainly can have an impact.
Bernardo. Misunderstanding with Maida. Not quite got to full tilt yet, the holders.
Always feel there's a possibility of that when you take Rio Hatate out of the Celtic midfield as well. There's a huge reason. The speed of play, I think the relationships, the continuity in the middle of the pitch, a real understanding. I think when you change those relationships in there, it can alter the way Celtic play massively.
So Jamie McGrath in the centre of your picture there. Well, Aberdeen can't get a hold of the ball when They have goal kicks or free kicks in their defensive area. It's Bernardo on the turn. A little bit of pinball. It's Ida for McGregor. And Johnston. Kuhn. Maida. Engels trying to get onto it. It's in the gloves of Mitov.
Just too many players made the same run there. Bernardo, Maida and Ida all going to the back post. And for that ball to come back, headed back across, you're hoping, certainly Maida's hoping that Ida or Bernardo's on the other side to go and attack at Engels, just can't quite get there. I actually thought Kuhn was going to take a shot on when he cut inside.
It's a bad landing for the player of the year. He's been magnificent for Celtic. He's one goal shy of Kyogo Furuhashi's best goal-scoring season in a Celtic shirt. When you remember how important Kyogo was for most of his time at Parkhead.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, as was Kyogo. But Daizen Maida, a different player, brings different attributes and strength to the Celtic team, but I think he's really stepped up to the mark as well. When you look at his goal contributions, you mentioned those assists as well, Liam. Outstanding stats when you put that across a season. Also the energy levels that he gives the team.
Yumi Talene be concerned with the fact they've not been able to, when on the rare occasion they've had the ball, they've not been able to keep it for very long.
I wouldn't say he'd be concerned. I think that you come into a game like this knowing that at times you're going to sit off the ball and concede possession and expect that Celtic, you know, will be patient to probe. I think they'll be happy that Celtic haven't been able to really test Mitov in goal and want them to use the ball better, but I think something has to give when you play in this way. I think he'll be more than happy with the shape and the aggression of his team and maybe want a little bit more in terms of keeping the ball, but overall I don't think he'll be too concerned at this moment. The concern normally is that Celtic usually find a way. You spoke about their goals and how they score in bursts as well, so I think that overall they'll be happy enough. Brendan Rodgers, I think they'll look at saying a little bit more speed in the pass, speed in the movement, but maintain the patience because he'll believe the chances will come.
It's been a roller coaster for Talene. His maiden season, a wonderful start. Won 10 of their first 11 league games, through to the League Cup semis, and then it all went horribly wrong. It's a good job they made the start they did when you look at the league table since their first defeat, which came in Paisley in November. Sees them at the bottom, behind even relegated St Johnstone. It's all in the past for them now. There's Clarkson. Again, just can't retain it for any length of time. Bernardo for Maida seems to have shaken off that landing from a few minutes ago. Stop play because there's a pyrotechnic has landed by the corner flag. There's been delays to games here because of pyro this season. In one case there was a 10-minute delay to a kickoff and the clubs involved were fined and given warnings. Fewer tickets for games here. Johnston, Kuhn, Engels, Bernardo in space, good block by Milne.
It was overwhelming, and that's the space you know that's going to open up. Bernardo make the run. I actually thought he takes a really good first touch, gets out his feet, but Milne does really well to get back across and get the block on.
Milne does really well to recover it, because I actually thought he'd kept himself in just ever so slightly too narrow to begin. I thought he could have started to cover the space a bit quicker, but he redeemed himself and got the block in.
In from Kuhn, and away by Jensen. The 8th time these two have met in the Scottish Cup final. Celtic ahead 4-3 in the head-to-head. Wins in 1937, 54, 67, 2017. Aberdeen winning in 1970, 84 and 90. And last time with their hands on the trophy. Forgettable final with the first penalty shootout. Final of this tournament had seen. Aberdeen haven't been defending set pieces particularly well of late. As Kuhn takes the latest for Celtic. Punched away by Mitov. Johnston, back to Kuhn, away by Dorrington this time. Keskinen's offside.
He wanted the ball earlier from Dorrington. He does really well, Keskinen, put pressure on Callum McGregor. They wanted Dorrington to step onto that and just play it up the line first time.
Kuhn. Taylor winds one up. He's not that far away either.
Certainly was not. What a hit from Greg Taylor. Probably tells you the type of mood that Celtic find themselves in just now. A little bit frustrated, but the space opens up. You certainly get time, Greg Taylor, to keep it in that favoured left side. Comfortably over Mitov's bar. I think he might have just had it covered anyway. Certainly worth a hit.
Yet to agree a new contract. The impending return of Kieran Tierney. I wonder if that's coming into his head. How much game time will he get next season? I know that the Croatian side, Dinamo Zagreb, very keen to sign Taylor.
He's certainly been an outstanding servant for Celtic, a top signing, so consistent in his performances, and I think when you look at the development of a player as well, I think he's well within his rights to hold out for what he feels is an offer that is worth his services.
There's room at Celtic for Tierney and Taylor. The amount of games they play, they will get his fair share. I think he's a great asset to Celtic, as Leanne says. Tremendous career.
Aberdeen defend it well. And again, the ball's not sticking. Celtic lose the ball, they're right on top of you immediately to win it back.
Yeah, and the difficulty for Aberdeen is they're in such a defensive, compact shape that when they win it back, their numbers are so tight together, and Celtic come after you so quickly, so furiously. They suffocate your intentions.
Should be Mitovs. Is it a injury-affected season, Mitov, the Aberdeen keeper? He hadn't really suffered any injuries before he moved to Pittodrie last summer, but he had two relatively long spells out this term. But again, another example of Aberdeen giving the ball away immediately.
Yeah, and you can see when Mitov picks the ball up, Keskinen, as we know, wants to stretch the game and use his pace, but it has to be an element trying to take this thing out of the game, get a touch of the ball, because at the minute it's just defend, which they've done well, you have to say, but it's very, very long afternoon if you continue to give the ball back to Celtic.
Yeah, because you suspect that they would get you eventually. They tend to. It's not often they don't. But the teams that have had domestically, that have had success against Celtic this season, Hibs, St Mirren last week, Rangers, back threes / back fives that they've adopted, and they have, in part, they've frustrated Celtic. But with Hibs and Rangers in particular, and St Mirren, they've offered a threat up the other end, and so far Aberdeen haven't had that. 31 minutes in.
Yeah, I think you need to have the versatility to go from the 5 to the 3 quite fluidly and quickly as well, and that's probably the element of Aberdeen's game that I mentioned, I touched on. We need to grow within. You've got to be able to jump and regain possession, enough possession that allows you to either get your wing backs higher up into the game, or it allows your front two to split and you have one jumping from midfield that becomes your false 9 effectively. You're looking to get numbers higher up the pitch. Right now Aberdeen defensively, shape wise, they look comfortable enough out of possession.
Taylor for Bernardo. He does shows a bit too much of it to Shinnie. Now he's found Nisbet. Can he engage Keskinen ahead of him? The answer to that's no, because McGregor's towed it away from him. Challenged by Devlin. Well, this is just coming back at the Aberdeen box constantly.
Yeah, it is, but I thought the first pass was actually going to go to Keskinen, which would have been forcing it, so it is a positive in that you're trying to find Nisbet and build the attack. But we've spoken about it so many times, the aggression from Celtic, the speed in which they get back to win the ball back. You know, Nisbet, you're saying he has to do better, but you have to credit Callum McGregor for nullifying that threat, because the next pass was a dangerous one for Aberdeen to put Keskinen in behind.
He's had calf problems this season, Callum McGregor. Seemed to be stretching something out there after the backtracking. Defended by Alfie Dorrington initially, but he runs it out of the pitch. He was sent off against Celtic in the recent league meeting. Celtic won 5-1 at Pittodrie. Luke McCowan's doing a warm-up right now, so we'll keep an eye on Callum McGregor. Seems to be okay. Screaming for Schmeichel to give it to him there. Is it now? That's a lovely flip by Bernardo. Milne gets there ahead of Maida. That was crucial. Keskinen for Aberdeen out to Jensen. Poor from Palaversa. Needs to be a lot better than that, and he is capable of a lot better than that. Kuhn. Defended by Mats Kanusta. Himself in a cul-de-sac here with Maida putting the pressure on. Johnston on that right hand side, always an option. It's to Kuhn this time though. To the Canadian. Never hit it.
Yeah, it's poor, but you go back a couple of minutes and it looks like Aberdeen are in a great position to go and put some pressure on Celtic. And what does Celtic do? They just play it round them, and barring a heavy touch from Maida, they're bearing down in goal. So he's speaking about trying to get some control and maybe use the ball well. When they're brave and go and put bodies forward, Celtic just play around you, and then Aberdeen go in the attacks, a poor ball in from Palaversa. Again, Celtic are then on the counter attack with more space. So it is a tough situation for Aberdeen to be in.
Johnston skipped away from Kuhn, and Devlin with the challenge. He thinks that's his ball. The north stand side assistant David Dunn thought otherwise.
I think the assistant flags for foul here, and then Kuhn gets up to pick the ball up and take the throw in, and then the throw in's given. So you can understand the frustration from Nicky Devlin.
Scales or Taylor. A little bit of space there for Engels. Shinnie covers. He's won one of these, he's lost one of these. The Aberdeen captain. It's a great ball in this bit. Finds Alfie Dorrington. His parent club win the Europa League the other night. He gallops down the wing. Well, it's excellent from Alfie Dorrington. You wouldn't have had him down as the out ball, the ball carrier. It's a bit of respite for the Dons' defence, though. Nothing else. Lovely from Taylor. Engels and Aberdeen had committed a few forward there. It's that point in the game when you're defending against a side dominating, you've got to have even better concentration, because how often have we seen Celtic score late in a half of football, just when you think you're getting the job done?
Absolutely, and it's when you start to edge what you feel like is closer to half-time, and you section the game up and quarter it up and look to make sure you're in it for as long as you possibly can, but there's still a long way to go. A set piece right now seems like it could be the closest thing to a goal that we get.
The Engels and the treble chasers. Carter Vickers was there, and it finds its way through. Cameron Carter Vickers puts the holders in front in the final, and they've broken through the Aberdeen resistance.
There was a chance just before this corner came in for Arnie Engels to play it to Greg Taylor, who was all alone. I thought that was a good opportunity, but the delivery is exceptional. Great strength from Carter Vickers. It comes off an Aberdeen player on the way in. Dorrington comes off Dorrington on the way in. Mitov scrambling.
Yeah, it's an own goal, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's an own goal scored by Alfie Dorrington. And it is Celtic who go in front, and they've dominated from the off. So Aberdeen's plan looked like it was working, and just as I'd said about getting late in the half, thinking you're doing your job, all of a sudden it's plan B for Aberdeen.
absolutely, and that's what I said. Set pieces, they're so huge in the game as well, and when you're under that sustained level of pressure, the one thing you need to do is be switched on when you're defending your box.
Oh, Mitov was a little bit nervy as he came out to claim that ball. Celtic have Maida on the deck, incidentally, as you can see in the bottom right of your picture. Aberdeen will play on. It's not a head knock. Don's entitled to play on, but Palaversa puts it out anyway. Yeah. It's the Aberdeen supporters booing.
Yeah, Celtic fans are booing when they keep it in. Aberdeen fans when they keep it out, and it is good sportsmanship, but it's a cup final after all. Darlington just comes through the back as he goes to stick for that header. As in Maida. See the knee right in the back there, and look, this is as much as Aberdeen fans and everybody wants Aberdeen to go forward and try and get a goal. This is not a bad thing for Aberdeen, because they've obviously just gone behind. It gives them a chance maybe to regroup, and this is a huge 4 minutes plus whatever's added on for Aberdeen, because you always feel that when Celtic get a goal, they're hungry for another one, and it's whether Aberdeen can cope with that and stand up to it and get themselves to half time. Maybe get themselves level, but definitely only one behind, the bare minimum for them.
Yeah, I mean, one of their biggest problems this season, Aberdeen, is when they do concede a goal, they score, they concede more. The opposition score against them 2 or 3 times in quick succession. Celtic looking for another here. Bernardo. Johnston and Kuhn, and another corner coming. Well, the team that scores the first goal has only lost the Scottish Cup final 3 times out of the last 36. Aberdeen against Celtic in 2017, Dunfermline against Celtic in 2004, and Celtic against Rangers in 2002, the last time they lost one of these. And this right now, these next few minutes are crucial to Aberdeen's hopes of staying in this tie.
Yeah, it becomes a completely different half-time team talk for Jimmy Tilleen at 1-0 in comparison to 2.
Another corner on this near side this time. Well, it's a similar outcome to the League Cup semi. It was a corner from this side. Carter Vickers with a much cleaner header on that occasion. That gave Celtic the lead. And we're coming up against the strength of opposition. And seeing a goal from a set play will annoy Jimmy Tilleen no end. And the kind of goals that Celtic can score against you. Engels with it. Mitov deals with it. Clarkson wins it back on the far side. And Bernardo felt he was fouled. Johnston's header, Jensen gets onto it. Palaversa wanted way too long, albeit he's going to get the free kick. And a yellow card coming for the Celtic defender. He's threatening to spill over a little bit here. Well, in fairness, if you're a neutral watching this, something like that might just spark the game. It's not been a classic. Celtic won't care if they go on to win the treble, and if Aberdeen can turn it around and win the first Scottish Cup in 35 years, they won't care what kind of game it is. But perhaps something like that might just get it going. Yeah,
I think it certainly gets the fans going. A little bit of adversity, a little bit of fire.
Shinnie's been booked as well.
They get a look at it again. Cameron Carter-Vickers certainly felt aggrieved. He felt he had got enough on the ball, which he does.
Yeah, he's got an argument.
Just perhaps his stud's been slightly risen and shown, goes against him.
That's not a foul. Never mind the yellow card. And Don Robertson had the yellow card out before this flashpoint with Graham Shinnie. Yeah. And I can understand when you have that, there's going to be a yellow card. But I actually thought he was bringing the play back for an earlier foul, maybe on Jensen. I don't think that's a foul at all from Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Well, there was going to be 1 minute of stoppage time added. A little bit on top of that. I think 2 minutes have been confirmed now. But it's just not been good enough in an attacking sense by Aberdeen. Celtic are handling them no problem. Is it just a case of getting the team in at half-time for Telleen and just trying to get his message across and being just one goal behind for Celtic? Brendan Rodgers will be pretty comfortable, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers will want more from his side. I think he'll want the ball to move quicker across the back line in terms of the build-up. Can the two centre-backs probably split a bit more, make it more difficult for the front two of Aberdeen to really go and initiate and get any sort of press locked on. I think the combination play from Celtic's been slightly better as the half's gone on. They've moved Aberdeen a bit more. But the reality is they've scored from a set piece. I think the flip side for Jimmy Telleen is that he's got to look at that plan B now. You need to score in the game, so how do you commit more bodies forward? With then controlling that rest defence out of possession, making sure that you still offer some sort of security that could be more direct. James spoke about that earlier on. Can you turn Celtic a bit more and get down the side? How do you do that? You need to sacrifice one of your wing backs. You need to adapt and look more like a back four perhaps at points. But I'm sure the Aberdeen manager has looked at every possible scenario going into this game, and I don't think he'll have been under any illusions that at some point in the game he could have found himself behind in the match.
Well, this is the goal that separates the two. It's so scrappy, it kind of sums the game up really. It's a horrible goal to concede, but if it's a stuffy match like this, Celtic don't care.
Absolutely not. I mean, Celtic have received plenty of plaudits this season for their style of play and how well they have played and dominated games, but the biggest thing about Celtic is they win games, and the delivery for me is outstanding. You can see the amount of players in there in that area. All you have to do is put it in the area. Dorrington's more concerned with Ida and trying to make sure he's not out-muscled, probably takes his eye off the ball a little bit, and it is unfortunate for Dorrington, fortunate for Celtic, but they won't care. And what they'll do is they'll continue to try and stretch the game, play with a bit of speed, keep probing. They've been in this situation so many times that there won't be, it won't be forced from Celtic, it won't be rushed. It'll be a case that, just a little bit quicker. Can you move it quicker? Can you move, yourself quicker and play the pass a little bit quicker? Aberdeen, for me, need to keep trying to plug the gaps, and they have to find a way to get control in the game, but they don't have to go and chasing it now. They don't need to go chasing it straight after half-time.
It wasn't exactly wild celebrations from Celtic. This is par for the course for them, winning cup finals. Business-like. It's an unprecedented period in the club's history. Success after success. You just get so used to it. Half-time whistle is imminent. There it is, Celtic in front. And on their way to a treble. Carter Vickers got the slightest flick onto the corner. Bounced off Dorrington, Mitov couldn't get there. The scrappiest of goals. As the holders in the lead at the break. No changes for either team at the half-time interval for the start of the second half, which Engels kicks off. Celtic shoot towards the east end of the stadium. And the half-time possession statistic there was Celtic 84.1, Aberdeen 15.9. 7 corners for Celtic, none for the Dons. And the thing is, there's been no shots on target officially. Celtic have scored, it's an OG though. And everyone will be hoping for better fare in this second half. Can Aberdeen stay in the game, stay in the tie, and get themselves into positions where they can hurt Celtic? It didn't look likely in that first half. We've got a free kick here, and Leighton Clarkson is pretty handy in this kind of situation. And it's Shinnie who takes this one. Milne going for it, so too was Dorrington. And it comes to nothing. And here goes Adamida. Maida ahead of him. Well, both seem to be caught in two minds there, Maida and Jensen. It's in for Kuhn. Tov holds on comfortably in the end, but that's how quickly they can slice you open.
Yeah, I don't think Jensen knew whether to stick or twist, to be honest, over in that far side. I think when you understand the threat that Maida carries and how quickly, as you say, Celtic can go from one end of the pitch to the other. But the end product this afternoon has been the issue from both sides, certainly. When you look at the deliveries into the box, the type of runs, an easy one for Mitov in the end.
What do you think Tillene has said to his players at the break, James?
I think continue in the way that they've defended, but try and use the ball a bit better. You know, the flashpoint between Carter Vickers and Shinnie, when the ball comes to Leighton Clarkson, you get a simple pass, he just playing it up the line for Keskinen, who'd made the run. He goes for the diagonal, which plays into the hands of Celtic, put it in behind that back line, give Keskinen something to chase, and at the worst case then you're maybe even getting a throw in, but you're getting your team up the pitch, you're taking the pressure off. So use the ball a bit better. You mentioned the possession stats. It's not good enough, but certainly against the ball, they have looked good, Aberdeen.
Taylor for McGregor, and now Johnston for Nicholas Kuhn. Nicholas tried to give him it back there. It's well defended by Nisbet. Shinnie was waiting for the ball to reach him and nearly paid a price there. Palaversa hauled to the ground by Taylor. Once cost Manchester City £6 million, Anti Palaversa. Dreadful injury problems a couple of seasons before arriving at Aberdeen. It's in the French second tier with Troyes. Pressure from the Aberdeen front players on the Celtic defence, and it's got them up the pitch ultimately.
Yeah, I mean that's been a difference, because in the first half they'd retreated into their shape, allowed Celtic to go and build an attack. Nicky Devlin's the one that goes and leads it and forces, you know, Celtic into mistake and have a ball on the edge of the box.
Reverse had a go. He's been fouled by Maida, says Don Robertson. Aberdeen have a free kick in a very nice position as a result.
Well, it was an ambitious effort in the first instance for Palaversa. He gets himself back into an area. Not too much intention from Maida, but he certainly looks to come down the back of his Achilles. But it's this type of moment that could change the game for Aberdeen. It's the type of moments that you need to make the most of. You've got to capitalise. It's the reason why you look to have a bit more attention to detail in training moments, when you look at set piece opportunities and how you work it, how you try to be creative, how you try to break down, which is a very good defensive wall in Celtic.
Just a touch over 25 yards from goal, just to the right of centre. You know Clarkson's capable. A wonderful free kick against Rangers in a recent league match. Aberdeen needs something magical to try and turn the tide. It is Clarkson, and it's a comfortable take for Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, it's tame. It's tame. I think that, you know, Leighton Clarkson would have been practising the free kicks all week, and probably from that position it's ideal for him, but he just doesn't get the power on it. Kasper Schmeichel, I always look at the goalkeeper in that situation. He stands in the middle, which makes it very difficult when you're taking the free kick, but it means that you feel that you need to go for a bit more power. you're never, if you're standing at one side, you can maybe get it up and over, and it can be precise without the power because the goalkeeper needs to scramble. But it was really comfortable in the end for Kasper Schmeichel, and we expect so much more from Leighton Clarkson because we know he's more than capable of testing Schmeichel in that situation. But an easy, comfortable one for Schmeichel in the end.
Nisbet. And when the boot came up and caught Carter Vickers, he was on his way to the ground. I think that's the point he's trying to make.
Yeah, he's muscled out of it with Carter Vickers, and as he's leaning back, yeah, right, but he still goes to try and kick it. I mean, it's still a foul.
Celtic looking to win this tournament for the third successive year. Johnston across. Milne had to deal with it because Ida's right behind him waiting for a tap-in.
That's a good clearance from Milne. Great delivery. Such a dangerous area from Alistair Johnson. Bit unorthodox from Milne to go the right boot right enough. I thought he'd a chance he could turn it into his own net, but he does well.
And from Kuhn, and it's Maida's header, which goes over.
That's dangerous delivery. You can see most of the big ones from Celtic are in the middle or towards the back. Maida just frees himself up, gets there first. It's tough for him to keep it down from there.
He's also not known for his aerial prowess. There's Palaversa stretching his legs, looking for Keskinen. Combination of Johnston and Carter Vickers deal with it though.
Takes the wrong option. He's got better options in front of him, that is the wrong one.
Kuhn. Jack Milne's played well so far. Good afternoon for him. Kuhn looking for Johnston. Brewster's there. Trip. Aberdeen free kick.
Defensively, Aberdeen across the team, across the entire unit have been very good. Certainly nullified Celtic as much as they possibly can, really limiting that goal threat, but it's the in-possession element that has to be better, the decision making. Even Keskinen a moment or so ago looking to try and play on the spin. He's got to hold the ball up better, he needs to bring his teammates into play.
You might have seen Papi Gay getting ready for Aberdeen. Talleen making an early second half change to try and shake things up here. A regular starter recently. Well, there's that tenacity from Daisen Maida there for all to see again. Fired forward for Ida. Taylor. Very productive season for Celtic. Looking for their third trophy, but they made inroads in the Champions League as well and pushed Bayern Munich all the way in the knockout playoff round in February. Celtic players are like pistons. It's the way they go about things. Probing, trying to find a way through, popping the ball around.
Yeah, but you look at, Aberdeen are comfortable in their shape, and it is a lot of passing and movement. You look at someone like James Forrest, who's much spoken about, Yang, someone that will go and commit and try and, maybe take someone out of the game and force someone else to go and move out of position to try and create space for others.
That blocked by Milne, claiming handball. Not sure there was much he could have done about that. There's a corner though. Knust was a little bit lucky because just for that moment there, it looked like he was going to bring Ida down in the box. So Keskinen is being hooked here. He's not really been in the game, but he's a good outball for Aberdeen. Are you surprised at this change?
Yeah, I think that exactly for that reason. I mean, he is, or he can be a good outball. I suppose to support the manager's decision, he hasn't been. They haven't been able to find them, or he hasn't made the right runs. Papagay coming in allows Aberdeen to go a bit more direct. There has been an intent when the ball goes forward from the midfielders, the wing backs, to get higher up the pitch, so I can kind of understand it, but it is still surprising it's Keskinen coming off.
Got a boo from the Celtic fans given he put Hatate out of this final. And it comes from Kuhn. Mitov away, back in by Bernardo. Ida looked in an offside position there, but it's gloves of the Aberdeen keeper. He was claiming he was fouled by Maida, and the ref agrees. It just gives you no time. It reminds you of a wasp when you're trying to enjoy a barbecue out in the back garden. Dies in Maida.
He's relentless. I mean, he does actually try and... He looks like he's trying to get out of the way, even though he was initially in the way. He never looks phased, to be fair.
No, he doesn't. I think he knows
what he's doing. To a point.
Well, I think he runs back in a straight line. He's well aware of where Mitov is, and I know Mitov's looking for a yellow card. I don't think he goes into his path. He's just running back to get into position.
Better from Aberdeen. Gray out to Jensen. It's not a great ball though. Get it into the mixer here. Having to go all the way back again.
But Papagay has a chance to shoot from 20 yards. He overhits the pass wide, and Aberdeen need to go all the way back to start it again.
Alaversa's ball defended well by Scales. Flags up.
I know he's just on, Gabe, but I can't believe he's refused that shot there. And probably for a bit of encouragement for Aberdeen, that's Devlin that's offside, so they are going to commit. I wondered whether it'd be a case of just try and keep it tight and almost even get closer to the end of the game before you then go for it. There certainly has been more of an intent to commit bodies forward from Aberdeen.
Despite recent sobering experiences against Celtic, Aberdeen did come from 2-0 down at Celtic Park back in October to get a draw. Celtic took their anger at dropping 2 points at home out in the Dons in the semi-final of the League Cup here just a couple of weeks later. Kuhn in behind Devlin, keeper Johnston. Misunderstanding between Knust and Clarkson. Engels. We're on the hour mark here. Still just that scrappy own goal separating the teams. A lot of slack passing from both teams. I mean, I suppose it's going to happen by the law of averages for Celtic because they're seeing so much of it. But that's another example there of just that quality in the attacking third not quite being there.
Yeah, I think the quality all over the pitch at points has been very, very slack. Too many mistakes, too many unforced errors. And especially Aberdeen in your own defensive third, when you regain possession, you've got to take care of it. You need to use that as an opportunity to build your way up the pitch. Equally, Celtic have been just as poor at points.
Mida, who wrote his own chapter in Celtic's history. Last season's final, that late winner against Rangers. James Forrest will be one of 3 new players coming on for Celtic shortly. There's Papi Gay. Where's he going?
Yeah, I get your point, but what he's doing is driving his team up the pitch. You don't always need to go past someone. It gets you a break, it gets you higher up the pitch, and you can build your attack from a better position.
He's back on it here. And he's got to steam the free kick. This is where Aberdeen are going to have to try and profit.
Absolutely, and James is spot on. I think in this type of game, when you're going to be up against it, you're going to be without the ball for huge spells. You've got to be smart in how you gain territory and you get into these types of areas. As I say, set pieces, you can never, rule them out. I think they're such an advantage. Certainly when you've got those fans behind you, willing the ball into the back of the net as well.
Can Aberdeen rattle the Celtic cage here? Nisbet claims corner, he's not getting one though.
I think he's got a shout. I wonder if that comes off Alistair Johnston. Great delivery into that near post area. It looks like he flicks it on, maybe onto Johnston. Nah, I'm not sure. I thought he just flicked it onto the head of Alistair Johnston, but I don't think that is the case.
I think it actually comes off his shoulder, doesn't it?
That's an opportunity because it's a good area. He gets in front of Johnston. He just needs to get his head on it.
Well, that's where Kevin Nisbet wants to be, right there. This time Celtic have a free kick. Looks like McCowan and Yang will be on for Celtic along with Forrest shortly. There they are. That triple sub is imminent now. McGregor looking to win this tournament for the 7th time. Coons away from Devlin. Bernardo. Engels! Smacks the woodwork. It's good effort. Like he managed to find that bottom corner. It's Maida and it's straight at Mitov. There's 2 chances for Celtic in one fell swoop.
Well, it's better from Celtic in the way they're moving the ball, the intricacy of the passing, the speed of play, the 1 and 2 touch play in and around the box, and then the shot from Engels. So what you need to do when you've got that defensive structure in front of you, at points you need to work the ball, you need to manipulate the defence. He catches it really well in terms of just digging it out from under his feet.
Right, so Kuhn will be coming off. Ida is also being withdrawn. It might be, and that's Arne Engels' last act. He hit the post there. No cup final goal for Ida this year. .25 of the 90 to play. On comes Luke McCowan, who made that move from Dundee just before the summer window closed last year. And Yang has scored 3 goals against Aberdeen in his Celtic career, including 10 days ago at Pittodrie.
Change in profile, as I mentioned 10 minutes or so ago, where Forrest will get on the ball, he'll drive, he'll want to commit Nicky Devlin, take him on, likewise Yang with Jensen on the other side. And I think that you see James Forrest, the impact he's had since coming back from injury. His performance levels have been of the highest standard.
Absolutely. Clarkson with it. And it's on 18-yard line. Bernardo gets rid of it. What a great ball by Jensen. First touch for Yang, the South Korean. McGregor. Shinnie sticks with him. Was also a scorer in that match. Granite City. Forrest. McCowan tried to work it back to James Forrest, of course the most decorated player in Celtic's history nowadays. There goes Kevin Nisbet for the Dons. Jensen. Scales. Aberdeen's first corner arrives after 67 minutes.
Much better from Aberdeen. Real composure, playing out of their own defensive third. Kevin Nisbet does really well, breaks that line, makes a good decision as well to drive, allow the game to open up, find the right decision, the right pass, and the delivery just forces Liam Scales to almost put it into his own net.
Well, speaking of delivery, Leighton Clarkson's will have to be on point here. Trying to get rid of it. Canuster can't keep it alive. Cowan looking for Forrest. Look at the run from Yang ahead of him. Forrest's going to find him. McCowan's there too. It's Yang, and he just delayed it too long. Second Celtic goal, you just can't see Aberdeen coming back from that.
No. And, you know, you look at the two subs combining it, I thought Yang was just going to lay it into the path of Maida, who was bursting to get into the box. It just shows you, bringing that freshness to players that are willing to go and run and take players on.
McGregor. Maida. Reached to Johnston. Blocked by Canuster. Forrest again, he got that late equaliser against St Mirren last week, which meant he scored in each of the 16 seasons he has been in the Celtic senior team for. Some achievement, that. Back to that semi-final last season, Aberdeen scored late in normal time and late in extra time to equalise on both occasions, took it to penalties. I'm sure Brendan Rodgers will be wary of that, which is why he will be very keen that this team gets another. Give them an insurance policy. It's not a great ball by Paulo Bernardo.
Well, at 1-0, Aberdeen are very much in the game. The next goal is so important, especially as the time ticks on. I think Aberdeen have looked better, certainly in the second half, carrying more of a threat in terms of getting numbers higher up the pitch. Just the delivery from Bernardo doesn't quite get his foot around it. And it's a different challenge now for the defensive three of Aberdeen in terms of that back line. Dorrington, Canuster and Milne up against Maida. Different profile altogether than Adamida. Much more difficult, I think, to understand his movement and how quick.
Might be the end of the game for Milne, though.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it?
And Christers Tobers, who's the Latvia international captain, would be the logical replacement unless Tallinn wants to change the system.
I would imagine he'll keep the system the same if he's forced into this change, because they have been, more positive and when they've won the ball back and tried to cause problems. It's given them, a good platform to go and try and build those counters. So I'd be surprised if he changed now to a back four, having played with the back 3-5.
At what point do you start being more expansive, though? Because as it stands, you're losing the Scottish Cup final.
Yeah, well, I think they have been more. There's been more emphasis on them trying to get more players forward and be attacking. But I mean, if you go and you just run forward and tell players to get forward at will, you're leaving yourself massively exposed at the back. Now, I understand it's a final, but you don't want to lose it now. There's still time in the game where, first and foremost, they have to make sure they don't concede. And I think, you know, we've seen Papagay running up the line, getting throw-ins, players getting free kicks, Nisbet doing well, playing it wide and crosses into the box. I don't think there's a situation, certainly right now, where you say, right, just throw more bodies forward and hope you can get yourself back into the game.
I think they're 8 or 9 minutes away from really opening up. I think
here's a chance potentially for Clarkson. They've just nicked away from him at the last. And Johnston clears. Johnston fouled by Clarkson. Taking it quickly here. It's Forrest. And Luke McCowan. Blocked by Canustar. And then it was Taylor's effort deflected over.
And you look at Taylor's face, that's how close he thought it was. It's relentless from Celtic. Alistair Johnson still on the grass from the initial free kick.
Dorrington, is it? Again, heading it over.
Yeah, he gets a flick. I think Mitov might get a glance.
But it comes because the ball's out to James Forrest quick and he whips it, meaning the Aberdeen defenders need to run back the way and cover that space, which leaves space at the edge of the box. So I know they get the block on it eventually, but it's just something different again from Celtic.
Dorrington struggling now. He looked like he had a shoulder problem in the first half, towards the end of it. Jack Milne's giving it another go, but it's the second time Dorrington's been down. He's going to continue for the moment. It'll be a Luke McCowan corner. Stabbed away by Dorrington. Looks really slack. McCowan, though he's reacted well to his error. He's apologising. Celtic just over 15 minutes away from their latest treble. It'll be their 6th in the last 9 seasons. Club had only won 3 of them before that. October's is coming on. He's on the right. Dante Polvara on the left. Brendan Rodgers' domestic cup record as Celtic manager's frightening. This is tie number 43. He's won 41 out of 42. He's won all previous 21 Scottish Cup ties as Celtic manager. All 14 of his visits to Hampden. Sloppy this time from the holders. There's Clarkson, but McGregor's there. Of course he is. wrong side of 30 now, Callum McGregor, but he's not slowing down.
No, and it's just the numbers centrally that Celtic have. You know, I thought Shinnie could have played the forward pass a bit quicker, broke the line in the first instance. He waits, he takes a touch, then he tries to play it. By that time, Celtic recover. They're so fit, they've got such an engine room in the middle of the pitch. I mentioned it earlier on, they suffocate you. If you do not move the ball quick enough, they literally just take it back off you. Callum McGregor's a prime example of that.
It's the encouragement you give them. I think when the ball gets played into Nisbet, Clarkson's turned his back, he's given up on it. He lays it in him first time, but he's not aware, which allows Celtic to then recover. And you can't give them any encouragement because of the way they play the game.
McCowan for Johnston. Here's Forrest. Moves it on his right side. Hung it towards Maida at the back post. It's yet another corner kick for Celtic.
From this point, for me, for Celtic, is you keep feeding the ball to James Forrest, because he will come inside and play, but he will take defenders on. The shift that the Aberdeen backline have put in has been monumental in terms of their effort. Now the last thing you need is someone dribbling at you that can go either way, that more often than not has an end product.
Bernardo having a go this time. Half away by Mitov. Forrest back out to Bernardo. Little reverse from Forrest for McGregor. And those two have been front and centre of this chapter in Celtic's history. Another bite of the cherry here for Bernardo. Mitov does just enough. We saw Christers Tobers getting ready for Aberdeen, but he seems to have sat back down. And the semi-final hero on the left there, Ode Dabag, will come on. Palaversa off to be replaced by Dante Polvara. Polvara's had some success here before. He set up Bojan Mijovski for the League Cup semi-final winner over Hibs last season. Clarkson's afternoon's over as well. And this is an out ball coming on for Aberdeen and Shayden Morris. And Nisbet replaced by Dabag, despite the fact Aberdeen are in desperate need of a goal heading towards the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Dorrington thought he was being replaced. It certainly looks like he's struggling. There might be a bit of a mix-up with that one. Yep, Dorrington it is. He's going to make way.
Yeah. So it's an attacking move by Michelin, because as you saw, Tobers was getting ready to come on, but maybe he's looked at the clock and thought it might well be getting close to caution to the wind time.
Yeah, I think the fact that Dorrington looks like he'd ran his race as well has probably forced the change as well. But it's never, isn't it, for Aberdeen? You've got 11 minutes left.
Well, it looked like Palaversa was coming off initially. There seems to be some confusion as to everything that went on there. Callum McGregor's asking what's going on. Yeah, so Palaversa continues. We saw Nisbet, Clarkson and Dorrington come off there. So Aberdeen put 3 on and took 4 off. Essentially, that's what went on there.
How does that happen?
Well, you're asking the wrong person. If anyone's going to know out of us 3, it's you or Leanne.
No, you're right. James will be the one that knows.
Yeah.
No, I've not got a clue, so...
It's final 10 minutes. I guess when it comes to cup finals, the one thing you don't want is any regrets. Can Aberdeen trouble Kasper Schmeichel between now and full time? This one from Maida.
The other thing for Aberdeen is, you know, they've hung in the game and kept it 1-0. They're losing anyway, so now is the time to go for it. I don't think, obviously, you don't want to end a heavy scoreline, but you want to be coming away from here, no matter what happens, you know, preferably for Jimmy Tulane as a winner, but no matter what happens, knowing that you've given it a go, you've given yourself a chance to get back into the cup final.
Well, there's been no lack of effort from Aberdeen. They've defended very well when you consider the number of goals they've conceded against Celtic this season, and that's another loose one. It was Papi Gay. Can he conjure up here, if anything? Did that go over the line? It's play on. The bag couldn't get onto it. Jensen for Morris. Nice little shuffle that from Polvara. That wasn't so good. Rooster. Gay's done quite well since coming on.
Sounds surprised, Liam.
He's not particularly had a brilliant time of it of late, that's why. There's Morris. Fires it in! And it's an equalizer! And it's all about Shayden Morris, who's just on! And that will send the cat amongst the pigeons for sure.
Well, initially it's all about Papi Gay. He spoke about his influence since coming on. He does really, really well. Celtic in the last couple of minutes, the way they've moved the ball, horizontal passes, they're the easiest ones to go and cut out in football. And Aberdeen have been all over it. But Shayden Morris does absolutely everything right in that right-hand side. He holds his width initially. He isolates, he gives Taylor a decision. Do you go and press, do you tuck in and protect? Such a dangerous area. The worst area. No man's land. Schmeichel, he'll be really disappointed when he sees it back. But it's all about the delivery because he feels compelled to go and deal with it and he gets it all wrong.
It's a huge mistake from Kasper Schmeichel. So reliable this season for Celtic. You're right. You put the ball in the area, you ask the question. He's trying to slap it away. I think he'd come and gather it. It is a massive error from a man that has been so reliable, so consistent for Celtic this season. And Aberdeen have rolled the dice and they've got the reward for it.
Tuline's changes have had the desired effect. And the Scottish Cup final is all square. You got the Club's Player of the Year, Shayden Morris. He's only started, not even double figures, league matches this term. Morris, such a good impact player for Aberdeen, and he's proven to be again there.
Absolutely. And there's been moments you wonder why you don't see more of him, because he does have that impact. He's got the ability to run at players, he's got the ability to cause problems. His delivery, his pace, so direct, and it's the first time this afternoon Celtic have really been asked to go and defend their own 6-yard box, and they get it wrong. But that's why it's so important that you probe and you ask these questions, and that you do allow players to get higher up the pitch and carry that attacking threat. And Jimmy Tuline's spot on, because now was the right time in the game to do that.
Well, this isn't a lengthy VAR check. There's a message up on the big screens. The police are asking supporters to return to their seats, and the game does restart. Now Aberdeen back in the tie with 5 of the 90 to go. It's game on again.
Interesting now to see whether Aberdeen maintain, you know, the intent. Do they go and try and win it?
Schmeichel will be furious with himself.
When you see it again, he's got to go with two hands. He goes down with the one arm, the right arm, and look to try and almost just block it. I think he can go down and really smother it and get on top of the ball.
Is this final going to extra time? Jan for Celtic. It's a throw-in. Jan asking for a corner. Devlin's gone down out of your picture with a bit of cramp. Hasn't been starting too often recently, and he had a terrific first third of the campaign that saw him capped a couple of times by Scotland. And to shake some life into that left leg.
You can try and you can keep trying. I think when it gets to that stage of tiredness, there's only so much you can do. Just another look at that goal, James.
Yeah, I wonder if he feels that Scales is going to get a clearance on it, and then it's a reaction to Scales not letting it go, but going beyond Scales. Nonetheless, I think that he'll be extremely disappointed, and I'm surprised because of the levels that he's shown this season, throughout his career, but particularly this season.
So the Aberdeen chairman there, Celtic goalkeeper's father, such a glittering career, Peter Schmeichel. Be hoping that that error doesn't cost his son's team the cup at some point, either in the next few minutes or another half hour on top of it. It's the Aberdeen fans who are making the noise here. Celtic look shaken by what's just happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough because they've had so much control in the game. I think they've made positive changes and still, you know, looked a threat. But Aberdeen have just gone for it. You know, the Shade Morris coming on, Dabag up alongside Pape Gay, totally transforming their front line, gives a different dynamic to them offensively. And Celtic, the way they play as they adjust to, you know, what's happening and still look and probe for those spaces. But the difference being Aberdeen have been able to carry a threat now. They've been able to get up the pitch and get some control in the game.
Yang brought crashing to the ground by Jensen, and Celtic have a free kick. And we're getting towards Tom Rogic time. 2017 final. Rogic struck early in the stoppage time period to win the first treble for Brendan Rodgers. I'm sure that's on the minds of any supporter of either of these teams. Remembers that one. Bernardo is over it. We're in the 90th minute. And it comes. It's overhit though.
It's a real waste, isn't it? When you look at the area, I actually thought Celtic could have worked it short. Callum McGregor was on at the edge of the box. It comes to nothing.
Jack McKenzie will come on for Devlin. He's putting some shift and not on his natural side of the pitch either. Left is Jack McKenzie's natural side. This looks like being his last appearance for Aberdeen, and what a moment it would be if he could help the club to the cup. 7 minutes of stoppage time have been added at the end here. You can see McKenzie above his left eye there. Signs of those disgraceful scenes at Tannadice last Saturday, when a fan threw a chair, or a part of a chair, onto the pitch and it smacked Jack McKenzie on the face.
Yeah, disgraceful, as you say, Liam, and just great that he's actually able to play in the game. He's recovered well to go and play his part in what is a huge moment for him, huge occasion.
an inch further down.
Yeah.
It's his eye.
Disgrace, Liam.
Yeah.
An absolute disgrace. James says just great to see him out on the pitch so quickly after it all happening.
Given there's 7 minutes of stoppages, there's still plenty of time for one of these teams to win it, and it's Celtic trying to do just that with McGregor. Scales for Yang. Ball for Bernardo. McCowan. Forrest. That's brilliantly defended again. Combination of McKenzie and Canuster. Celtic keeping the pressure on here. Another corner.
The one thing from James Forrest is his decision making. He always wins something or provides something, an assist, a corner, an opportunity.
Scored in that 3-3 here in the semis last season. Johnston showed too much to Papi Gay. He's going to let it trickle behind for a goal kick. Celtic fans felt Johnston was fouled there.
I didn't.
Well, I don't think Johnston did either, going by his reaction.
Well, obviously the Celtic fans are going to claim for it. It's hopeful from Johnston.
I think it's a type of challenge that Alistair Johnson enjoys when he's defending that type of area of the pitch as well. That physicality.
Tulane didn't change the shape despite the fact he had to take Dorrington off. He just put Polvara back in to the back line. That favours Maida! And Maida's through with a chance to win the cup for Celtic, but Mitov makes the block. Big moments in big games, and that is one of them. And Daisen Maida, he's been player of the season across the board. So the whites of Mitov's eyes and the chance to seal a treble.
It's a big, big save from Mitov, and I know it's an easy thing to say at this stage in a cup final, but when you've got Daisen Maida bearing down on you, almost 1v1, he does really well. Stays composed, keeps himself as big for as he possibly can. And great contact with the feet. Superb save from Mitov.
He's just off balance slightly, Maida, when he runs through, but how many times have we seen him, particularly this season, slot that away. Fantastic goalkeeping, closes the angle, and a huge moment to keep his side alive in this cup final.
Tabag for Aberdeen up the other end. Palaversa, Jensen. Out to Morris. Here he goes. That's what he does. And Aberdeen have a corner. And we're more than halfway through stoppage time.
It's a belief that Aberdeen need at this stage in the game. The bag does really well, shows real composure. It would be easy to feel compelled and rush towards goal. Checks back out, feeds the ball out to that right-hand side, and again Celtic are forced to defend, something that they didn't need to do for huge parts of this game.
You score now, you win the Scottish Cup. And from Palaversa, Canuster, Polvara. He's been ransacked, and here goes Maida. Still he goes. Still they go. Forrest, and it's too close to Mitov. Now Brendan Rodgers has got his arms outstretched down below us.
Well, they tried everything to stop him. It must be the most fouls against a player without him being able to go, for him to keep going.
The thing is, the game's not stopped though, so there's nothing really that Don Robertson can do unless he brings back play.
And Morris, Jensen, corner again.
Claims for a handball over on that far side against Greg Taylor.
Well, there's a card coming for somebody here, and it's Mats Canuster. They were claiming for a possible penalty here, Aberdeen. See, Greg Taylor's got his hands in close to his body. Outswinger from Palaversa. We're moving towards the final minute of stoppage time. Morris, back in it comes, Canoe Star! Oh, what a chance! For Jack Milne, but the flag will spare his blushes.
What an opportunity. You get a chance to see here. Rooster, I think, stays in. Yeah, he's off. I mean, initially I couldn't believe he set it. I thought he was going to just touch and hit it himself.
Mackenzie's clearance goes straight to McCowan. Maida. Bernardo. Is there one last chance for the holders here? Forrest. And Celtic have a penchant for a late goal. Looking for one here. It's McGregor. And blocked by Milne. Yang goes down. Ball cleanly won, says Don Robertson. Morris has overhit that for Gay, and this final looks like going to extra time.
Yeah, I mean, initially it's difficult to tell whether it's a foul or not, but I've no idea why Shaden Morris, with the pace and the attributes that he has, is trying to play a diagonal in behind for Papagay there. Get Jensen outside him, just keep running, commit someone.
Well, it is full time after 97 minutes in the end, and Shaden Morris's cameo from the bench and the mistake from Kasper Schmeichel have forced this extra 30 minutes, that after Dorrington's own goal had given Celtic the lead. 6 minutes before the interval, it's an own goal from Schmeichel. 7 minutes from the end of 90. That has reignited Aberdeen's belief that they can end this 35-year wait. It's the 18th time the Scottish Cup final's gone to extra time. Most recently in 2022, Rangers beat Hearts. Before today, only 2 had gone to an extra 30 minutes since 2006. So just like last season's semi-final meeting between them, it is extra time. And what sort of drama will be served up now? Aberdeen giving themselves a chance. But Celtic will be as relentless as ever. Pursuit of more history. Here they come with Bernardo and Yang. Oh, and that could have gone anywhere. It's Milne again, though. Excellent afternoon. Yeah,
he's got down the line of the cross on a number of occasions and defended the situation really well. But you look at, Jensen, he's put so much into the game. He was stretching off just before the final whistle there. The speed and the willingness and freshness of Yang to go and run in behind. Is it going to be a big problem for Aberdeen as the game wears on?
Bernardo with a corner and Scales with a header. Another Celtic player winning the cross ball, making the first contact though.
Yeah, look, it's a difficult one for Scales. I think to go and get a decent contact on, almost change the direction of the ball.
He was almost back at Aberdeen on a full-time basis. Brendan Rodgers gave him his opportunity amidst an injury to Mike Nawrocki early last season. And the rest is history. And he's had to work hard to get back in the team because Austin Trusty displaced him. He's back in there beside Carter Vickers towards the tail end of this season. Polvara. One back by Taylor. Cowan couldn't quite get onto it. Here's Milne. Dabag. And Morris. Dabag wants it back. It's just behind him. Jensen challenged well by Bernardo. Celtic looking to catch Aberdeen on the hop here, and Forrest has been tripped by Antti Palaversa. And one of the most booked players in Scotland picks up another.
You can see it coming a mile away as well, and I don't know if he needs to make the challenge. I mean, sometimes you can get in these situations where you think it's a good foul. I don't know if Aberdeen had enough cover. There's absolutely no doubt it's a yellow card.
Well, Jack Milk's having to come off now. As I said, he's arguably been Aberdeen's best player on the day. First ever start for them in a Scottish Cup tie. First start since December. But the local boy's done well today.
Very good, yeah, really good afternoon. He's put a real shift in. Not easy, not an easy first half to get through. Defended his areas really well. I think his communication working across the back line, is that defensive unit putting his body in the line. He's left everything out there.
Christopher's on.
The difficulty is when you make that type of change again in the back line, when you've had that consistency. Can the players that go in there, and the likes of Tober's get up to speed really quickly in this game?
Well, a lot of the time, extra time can be a bit of a damp squib. See where it goes. The League Cup finals extra time period was bang average this season. There is a school of thought that perhaps extra time will be a thing of the past in the not too distant future. And matches going to penalties straight after 90 minutes, when you consider the number of games that these guys are having to play these days, be it domestically, in continental competition, internationally. You see the Club World Cup taking place this summer. It's just relentless. Of course, replays were abolished a couple of seasons ago. Problem for James Forrest here. This would be a blow for Celtic.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look great over on that far side. The grimace on his face, tweak to the hamstring.
And Forrest having to come off. Johnny Kenny got his first Celtic goal in the recent league meeting between these two. He's going to come on. Forrest will be hoping his teammates can help him to his 27th major honour. Kind of burst back onto the scene late on last season as well, didn't he? It's been the same this term.
Yeah, I think it was pivotal last year to an upturn in form for Celtic, really coming to the fore, showing just everyone just how good a player he is. And I think this season as well, when he's been called upon, he's been outstanding and showing for me that he still has loads to offer. And what a chance now for Kenny coming on to be the hero.
And the Irishman from Sligo. And a brilliant season with Shamrock Rovers. And what is, of course, a summer calendar, the League of Ireland. He scored 5 in this season's Conference League. And off the mark for Celtic now as well. So Yang's gone to the right, Maida to the left, Kenny through the middle. Loose ball by Scales, just bouncing off his former teammate Morris. Taylor. By Tobers. The bag helps it on its way. Carter Vickers is in the road. Celtic back in their stride in extra time. It's a nice little flick, that one. McCowan. And the effort is comfortably saved by Mitov from Luke McCowan, who slaps his hands in frustration.
Yeah, it sets up well. The opportunity presents itself to McCowan. These are the types of ones that either catch flush and the keeper's got no chance, or you choke it as he does and it's into the body of the goalkeeper. Certainly a chance all the same.
Jeffrey Schlupp is going to be on for Celtic shortly. So it might be Greg Taylor. He's about to come off. We'll wait and see. It's Papi Gay. Looks for Dabag. In fact, it's Bernardo who's going to be coming off by all accounts. Shayden Morris. Trying to find a way through here.
You see what he's trying there, and I'm thinking as he's crowded out, get a throw in, get a corner, get a foul, but for him to do that, I think you need to at least look like you're trying to cross the ball, and he's just trying to be clever there and giving the ball straight back to Celtic.
Dante Polvara's ball there's not found a teammate. He was a big part in Dante Polvara's move to Aberdeen was Bobby Clark, who kept goal in the 1970 final when Aberdeen beat Celtic 3-1. They were big underdogs that day. It's one of the big shocks in Scottish Cup final history. If Aberdeen were to end up lifting the silverware today, it would go down as just as, if not a bigger surprise result. Long way to go for that to happen. Celtic on the ball here. It's another overhit cross by Yang, and kind of thing can breed throughout a side. Just loose balls, couple of them, just going to get the nerves going.
Well, the confidence and the consistency has come away from Celtic, certainly since Aberdeen get the equalizer. I think the fluency, I think the changes up top. They've had to reshape the front three on a couple of occasions now because of the changes. When you lose the focal point of Adam Maeda then goes centrally, then they change to James Forrest, changes it again, Maeda's back out wide, but I'm looking at Brendan Rodgers and the frustration for him is coming from Yang just now, not holding his width in that right hand side, what James Forrest was doing so well, isolating players, he's coming in the pitch, and then ultimately it's that end product. Another instance of when you don't have James Forrest on the ball, you don't know what you're going to get from Celtic, and that's kind of how it feels just now.
The sun trying to break through the clouds above, but more like Scottish Cup final day.
Just what the players need, is it? A bit more heat and sun after the efforts they've put into this game.
Just to drain and zap you a little bit more than you already feel.
Well, Greg Taylor moving into that midfield position now. He plays half the game there anyway, so he'll be quite comfortable.
Yeah, I think it just shows you, how important Greg Taylor is to Celtic. That you're making a change, take Bernard off, put him into that midfield area because you know that he's so comfortable playing in there.
Callum McGregor. Well, he's got his head in his hands, and the look in his face suggests he's not that far away.
He picks up space as well. Really good play. Speaking about the end product, and he's got time to shape this up. Goes for precision rather than power.
He just didn't dip quickly enough, did it?
It's never trouble him.
It's having his best goal-scoring season in 5 years, Callum McGregor. He's one of 7 Celtic players in double figures. We've got 3 on 20 or more. Maeda, Kuhn and Ida.
I think when you've got your 3 midfielders in double figures is quite phenomenal.
Versus down them.
It is a concern for Aberdeen because they put so much into it, and they've made the changes, but there's so many players. Jensen's another one who's been stretching off and trying to loosen his legs off because they put so much, and that would be the concern. We know how supremely fit Celtic are, and we spoke about it throughout the game, how hard it is to not have the ball. You not really have that first half in particular. You've not got the ball, you're shuffling across, you're trying to close distances, you're trying to double up and do 2 or 3 jobs at once, and it is really tiring. So this is now the big test of character and even physicality for Aberdeen. Can they see it out? Can they find a little, probably have to do the 4th one by now with how much they've put into the game, but that little bit extra adrenaline, that energy to keep going.
Final few minutes of the first period. Remember that final in 1990, Aberdeen last won it against Celtic with penalties, was far from a classic.
When you look at the fitness levels across the pitch, and as we're looking at the Aberdeen players tired, and as are some of the Celtics, as Greg Taylor to have seamlessly transitioned from a full-back position.
He's on it here. He's got his team a corner.
I'm sure you would understand that, James. Playing in a full-back position at points in your career, up and down the pitch relentlessly, and in extra time you're asked to go in and play in a centre midfield. Not an easy thing to go and do.
Incredible. Playing centre midfield's hard enough, but having to go in there, take the ball, pass and move, still make the same type of runs and get down the side. Incredible from Greg Taylor.
This is where the Celtic goal came from in the first half of normal time. McCowan with it. And Vara gets it away. McGregor decides to chop back in field. There he goes to McCowan. Aberdeen have played much of this match with the game being played in front of them. Regardless of the outcome, Talleen might wish he had gone with this setup sooner. Won just 5 of their last 27 league games.
Yeah, I think that certainly the shape and the discipline within that has been excellent from Aberdeen. But you had to do something differently because of the way the season ended, and because it was so soon after playing Celtic at home and losing very comfortably. There had to be a change. You couldn't expect to come into this game, play the same way and expect a different outcome.
It was the Celtic B team as well, essentially, that started that one, apart from the captain.
Yeah, but there's still
I know there's still quality there, but that just shows you how much quality there is in the Celtic side.
But you know, for me, the point was he couldn't come in and try and be that open and expect to get a different result in a cup final at Hampden against Celtic. Brendan Rodgers, his record there speaks for itself. Never lost at Hampden in the Scottish Cup, never lost the Scottish Cup. Just, I think that the change had to happen, but I was more interested in how they approached the game within that shape, as opposed to just let's change shape for the sake of it.
Johnny Kenny did brilliantly there to head it out wide. 2 minutes added on at the end of the first period of extra time. Celtic will come again here. Scales and Schloop. Maida, that glorious chance right at the end of normal time. Scales attempted cross, blocked by Morris. Jan. Roosters covering, come off in last. No says the linesman, and Don Robertson agrees.
Excellent from Knooster. Just does everything right, gets his body across, nullifies the threat. He's another one that's put a real big shift in this afternoon. He's been excellent in the back line.
He's arguably looked like the pick of the signings, if you like, particularly in the winter when I know Kevin Nisbet on loan from Millwall has been getting back amongst the goals, but Knooster has looked like the best of the winter signings, if potentially Talleen's signings all told.
Yeah, very good. And I think when you look at the change and the tweak to the system this afternoon, I know you're up against Celtic, but it looks to have benefited Aberdeen as well when you look at how they've been able to change in the second half, certainly into extra time. That was the questions that we asked at half time. Would they be able to change? Did they have the personnel to allow it?
Half time in extra time, and it's as it was. After 90 minutes, Carter Vickers involved in the Celtic goal, but it was a Donington OG. You can see the effort he put into the match, the way he's limping there after coming off. Shayden Morris fizzed the ball in from the right side, and Kasper Schmeichel made a meal of it, and it was him put through his own goal. And that one coming 7 minutes from the end of the 90. So, half-time and extra time. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. And when you look at the match stats as they stand right now, Celtic's possession has never dropped really from the opening 10 minutes, when at that point it was around about 80. It's sitting at 81.1. Shots on goal, 17 for Celtic, 3 for Aberdeen. Just 3 of those 17 have hit the target for Celtic. They hit the post as well through Arne Engels. Daisen Maida was through one-on-one with Mitov, who made an excellent save. But there's only been 4 saves in the match. Mitov's made 3, Schmeichel's made 1. That was a comfortable save from Leighton Clarkson's free kick. Where is this tie sitting right now, do you think? Because that was a pretty mundane 17 minutes, as it was. Is Aberdeen's best chance penalties here?
I think it's looking increasingly likely that it is, because, you know, throughout the game we've spoken about how disciplined they've been, how much they've put into it. The levels are starting to drop now for Aberdeen, and the threat is starting to drop. So I think for Aberdeen, they have to continue to be resolute defensively, frustrate Celtic and try and see it through. You might get a free kick and you might get the set play, but what most likely is going to be penalties. Celtic, you know, they'll continue to probe, they'll continue to get the ball wide and try and stretch Aberdeen. And look at the 2 goals, it's been, you know, from chances that aren't even shots in target, and they've managed to find the back of the net. So it could actually come down to another mistake that decides this cup final.
It will be Aberdeen to get the second period of extra time underway. 35 years ago, they beat Celtic on penalties to lift the Scottish Cup. Brian Irvine was a hero. Brian Irvine's 60th birthday today. And happy birthday, Brian, if you're watching. I'm sure you are. Who's going to be the hero out there? And will it come in what remains of extra time? Or is it going all the way? We shall find out now. Here's Alexander Jensen for Aberdeen. Polvara, flicked by Dabak. Now Morris might get onto that. He has done, and Schleeps had to put it behind for the corner. You probably, out with Daisen Maida, would fancy Shayden Morris against anyone in the country. And actually, I'd quite like to see 100 metres between those two.
Yeah, maybe we can ask them to do it straight after this game, see if they're up for it.
I'd love that.
But Schlepp does brilliant, actually, to read it and get the tackle in. I think that's the best outcome from Schlepp, because Morris is away from him. Times it brilliantly, but this is a huge opportunity now.
They've had a couple of corners from that far side. They had a couple of corners from that far side in stoppage time, the end of the 90. Didn't make anything of it. Palaversa this time. Gay knocks it back, and it's lashed over by Polvara. Couldn't keep it down.
Well, it's well worked from Aberdeen. The deep delivery, the contact from Gay keeps it alive. I think he's got to do better. He's got to get it on target. He just lashes at it. He doesn't need to go for as much power as he does.
That's a huge opportunity, Polvara.
Yeah, and the question is, will they get another one as good as that?
Well, maybe not. It just comes from, obviously, a hopeful ball. You just see he's leaning back, probably. Look, it's easy sitting from here, and obviously, you know, the tiredness comes into it, and also the pressure of the occasion. But you're looking for that to drop just a little bit more, and you don't need to get as much power on it. But it's easy when you're sitting up here. I mean, I'm tired watching them.
To be fair, you made it look easy out there on that very pitch.
You've got the experience, you can say that.
Not anymore, I couldn't. I was out of breath walking up these stairs earlier.
I know your knees couldn't take it nowadays. It was a let-off for Celtic, for sure. McCowan. Flicked back by Taylor, it's McGregor, it's blocked. And then off the bar from Schloop. Kept alive by Yang. What a hit it was from Jeffrey Sloop.
How relaxed he is on the strike.
Chances at both ends. Well, I suppose naturally tiredness will open the game up.
Which is a good thing for us and those watching, certainly the neutrals anyway.
Johnston. McCowan, blocked by Canuster, drops to Gay. Pops it round Yang, who recovers well and wins the free kick. Celtic fans don't like Papi Gay very much. I don't think Brendan Rodgers does either. Given the injury to Real Hatate in that recent league game. And Hatate missed this one. Yang. Well defended by Jack McKenzie. It's brilliant initially there by Carter Vickers, though McGregor's desperately trying to keep it going, but that's going Aberdeen's way. It's rare you see Brendan Rodgers quite as animated as he's been recently. He knows he's feeling a bit hot under the collar here. This treble's under duress all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, his team are under pressure. I think they felt, certainly when Celtic get the opening goal in the game, you know, the game goes one of two ways. Normally Celtic ramp it up, they build in those layers. Just looking at that chance again.
Talk about pressure in moments. How cool is he stepping onto it? Well, I know it doesn't go in, it hits the bar, but that's not an easy chance. He makes it look so easy and so comfortable.
Cigar in mouth.
It's almost like he's like, I may as well have a shot here.
Tabag trying to get behind Carter Vickers, Sloop clears. Tabag trying to whip the Aberdeen support into a frenzy. 10 minutes of football left to be played here. 10 minutes away from a penalty shootout. Jensen trying to get in behind Scales. Reacts under pressure from Gay. And Don Robertson is going to bring it back. Celtic fans irate because they were away in an attack of their own there.
No wonder. Greg Taylor does brilliantly to keep that alive there. And Don Robertson, he did delay, and it did look like it was potentially going to run out of the park, but you've waited long enough already. Just let's see how it plays out.
Scales. Yang was in behind Canuster, he had to get the head onto it. Johnston. Oh, and Kenny just couldn't make clean contact. And any goal now could win the cup. I mean, this is high pressure, high stakes at Hampden.
Well, it is the time just to get the ball in the box. Don't really ask your opposition to defend. It's a decent ball into a good area. Kenny's still got an awful lot to do, right enough. But the height of it
comes off the top of his head.
Yeah.
I think he can go and really be aggressive, get the forehead on it.
I think if he had got up a bit earlier and been able to hang just ever so slightly as he got up and control it a bit more, he just waits too late, he's got too much to do.
A lot of tired bodies out there. Cameron Carter Vickers or Johnston. Good challenge by McKenzie. Here's Stabag. Only really Gay ahead of him. Carter Vickers is there. So consistent a performer. Celtic defender. McKenzie. And Scales and Sloop both went for the same ball. Now it's Jensen. Papi Gay straight at Schmeichel.
Is that it? Is that the chance? He just hits it into the ground, Papi Gay. Comfortable for Schmeichel.
There's a balance to be found, and we're looking at the chances that Aberdeen have had. Polvara be a bit more composed, wait a little bit longer. You want a different side from Papagay, a bit more conviction, go and really put your foot through it, look to work Schmeichel.
When you take your shot at the king, you cannot afford to miss. And Aberdeen have had 2 glorious chances in the second period of extra time here. How costly will it prove to be that they took neither? It all stemmed from Scales and Schloop's misunderstanding, so they got away with one there. McGregor. Yang. Johnston. McGregor for Scales. You can have a go here. No, he resists the temptation. Schloop's ball. Good header by the impressive Canuster. And this is nerve-shredding, heart-pounding, nail-biting drama at the National Stadium. Johnston's cross is overhit, but Maida's going to get onto it here. Scales. They're trying to work it side to side in the hope they can drag Aberdeen out of position and find that little pocket of space. Just over 5 minutes left. Carter Vickers. Here's Johnston. Yang. Schloop. Away by Canuster, and they are howling for a penalty here, Celtic. Luke McCowan still claiming. There's a great challenge by McKenzie meantime. They're going to check this one. There is a possible penalty check going on here with a challenge by Canuster on McCowan. See what these two think of it.
I think it's McKenzie, isn't it? McCowan backs into the area, McKenzie's in. There's 2 hands on the back, I think. What impact does that have on Luke McCowan?
No penalty, by the way, no penalty.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Field decision confirmed. Celtic come again, Carter Vickers. Johnston. McCowan for Yang. Again. A frustration from the Celtic supporters that ball went back the way. Taylor. Straight to Morris, who just gets it away. Dabag chases. Carter Vickers is there. Close the back door. We are ticking ever closer to a shootout. Taylor. Late goals have been woven into the history of Celtic Football Club. So often they've come up with something right at the death, as they did in this final last season. Schloop's ball. Canuster away. Diving header from Polvara, and that's gone straight to Papagay. He's on his own at the moment. He's going to, well, I thought he was going to try and outrun Carter Vickers there, but it's a poor touch.
Yeah, he still tried to outrun him, but absolutely no chance. The chance before, Johnny Kenny just too far beyond that near post as the ball comes in. Just stay in the middle and then make your run off the cross when it comes in.
Comes through to Mitov. Well, I mean, when it comes to penalties, at that point, you just never know. I know when a manager wins a penalty shootout, it's no accident because they practice them in a specific way. When you lose a penalty shootout, the manager says it's a lottery. But you are getting to what is a practical lottery in that respect, because if this goes to penalties, Celtic's treble could go on the back of a good penalty saved by a brilliant save from a goalkeeper.
And the thing is, with a penalty shootout, you can plan for it and you can prepare for it, but the reality is, more often than not, the initial 5 players that you first, ideally would want to step up and hit penalties, some of them might not be on the pitch by this stage of the game. Substitutions influence that, injuries, tiredness, fatigue, whatever it might be. So I think best case scenario, you want players to step up who are confident. And when you look out at both sides just now, I think it's both sides' best chance of going on and lifting the trophy this afternoon is penalties, because Celtic have not shown enough quality.
Well, here they come though, as I say, lovely drama. Greg Taylor's popped up everywhere. He's found Yang as well, but the quality was lacking. That will be a goal kick, and we're into the final minute of extra time.
That probably sums up the quality, a lack of. When Yang gets into this position, you look at Maida at the top of your screen. This has to be flashed low, across goal. I know there's a defender in front of him.
I don't know how you can get it as wrong, James. I honestly don't. Because he's not under that much pressure. He needs to take another step, compose himself, and as you say, flash it across where the bodies are, where there's defenders looking to make those last-ditch tackles.
Tober's facing his own goal. He's to be careful here. Mitov clears. There will be, I think, at least 1 minute added on at the end of extra time. There was that VAR check for a possible penalty, so that's where that's come from. It's just the one solitary minute. 1 minute of football left. And then it's anyone's. Johnston. Here's McCowan. McGregor. Scales for Sloop. Scales again. Now Carter Vickers. Gets it to McCowan. Is this the chance for Celtic? Johnston hangs it up to Maida. He's done well to get it back across. Mitov claims though. And this Scottish Cup final's going to penalties.
You can't see him, but as soon as Mitov catches this ball, Jensen is off. He's looking for the counter. He's wanting to go and try and get a winner.
The 2025 Scottish Cup final will be decided by penalties, as it was between these two in 1990, when Aberdeen last lifted the Scottish Cup. Is history going to repeat itself, or can Celtic win a second major cup competition on penalties this season, having done so against Rangers in the final of the League Cup? Big deep breath from Callum McGregor, who's looking to join Bobby Lennox on 25 major honours as a Celtic player against Dimitar Mitov. It is McGregor, and Mitov saves, and it is advantage Aberdeen. The skipper fails.
Huge, as you say, Callum McGregor, the captain, stepping up, leading by example. It's not his best effort. Mitov guesses the right way. And it's a tremendous start for Aberdeen.
He's never lost a cup final, Callum McGregor. And it's his opposite number, Graham Sherry, who's up first for Aberdeen. Can he give them the lead? He does! It's a brilliant penalty from Shinnie. Aberdeen looking to lift their first trophy since 2014, which they won on penalties as well. And Yemi Talene, little glance at his skipper.
It's top class from Graham Shinnie to follow up the pressure in the first penalty. Every penalty there's immense pressure. But the first one, especially after a miss, you've got to follow up and hit the back of the net. It's exactly what Graham Shinnie does.
It's Johnny Kenny. He's only recently forced himself into the reckoning. Got his first goal for the club against Aberdeen 10 days ago. That's cool. It's 1-1. Mitov went the wrong way. One apiece.
As I say, cool. Huge pressure. Every penalty's pressure, but I think when the first one's missed and you're stepping up, sends Mitov the wrong way.
Well, you remember how close Celtic were to losing that penalty shootout to Hearts. In that final, Hearts were a kick or two of the ball away from winning that Scottish Cup. Dante Polvara next up. He scores. Another terrific spot kick. 2-1.
Yeah, that's top drawer again from Polvara. Really good penalty. Goes for the stutter run. Shows a lot of composure. I always think any player that's got the confidence to do that knows exactly what he's doing. Sends the keeper the wrong way. He had a huge influence when he came into the game.
Luke McCowan for Celtic. And that's another brilliant penalty. And McCowan sends Mitov the wrong way. Mitov's an excellent shot stopper when it comes to penalties. We remember that save for St Johnstone on the final day of the league season last season at Fir Park. And that's a brilliant spot kick again.
That is. I mean, it's important that you make your mind up and you stick to it. McCowan just slotting that into the side net, and I suspect even Mitov at full stretch is a difficult one for him to stop.
Ode Dabag, the semi-final hero. Extra time winner against Hearts. He re-established the Aberdeen lead here. Yes, he does. And Aberdeen are 2 penalty kicks away from winning the Scottish Cup. That's the reality right now.
Wow. Big penalty from Dabag. Real quality. So good. Very similar to Graham Shinnie's. And that's what it means to Jimmy Tulane.
Well, Celtic's man of the season. Getting to the point. He can ill afford to miss. 33 times he scored for Celtic this campaign. He's been the player of the campaign. And he gets it through Mitov just. And Shootout's still alive.
Yeah, just is enough for Dyson Maida. Goes for power. Mitov guesses that he's hitting it straight. He'll be disappointed. I know there's a decent amount of power at it. Disappointed there, Mitov.
McGregor the only one to fail so far. Antti Palaversa's next for Aberdeen. 2 successful penalty conversions away from the cup. Palaversa against Schmeichel. That's another terrific, cool penalty. And Aberdeen are now 1 penalty away from ending this long wait for the trophy.
Well, you spoke earlier on, Liam, about being prepared for a penalty shootout. Stephen was speaking about it downstairs as well, and it certainly looks so far like Aberdeen have been all over this possibility. The penalties have been out of this world.
And Alistair Johnston simply must score to keep Celtic's treble dream alive. It's Aberdeen's Cup! Dimitar Mitov has won the Scottish Cup for Aberdeen. It is quite sensational. 35 years of pain and misery in this competition has come to an are Scottish Cup winners for the first time since 1990. A stunning triumph that no one outside the Granite City saw coming. And perhaps even a triumph some of them didn't see coming themselves. They've had their fair share of embarrassment in this tournament along the way. But they can forget all about that. Yemi Tallene has brought silverware to Pittodrie in his first season. Against all the odds imaginable, against all probability, against all expectation. Aberdeen have made the impossible possible. And the most surreal of seasons the club's arguably ever had ends with a silver lining. From leading Cali Thistle to the Scottish Cup, has repeated it with his hometown club. He said to me the other day that if they lost this final, he'd be able to go and watch his brother play for Livingston, potentially in the playoff final in Dingwall on Monday night. He said if they win it, I'll probably be in the pub still. And, you know, these are the moments that it's all about. Liam Shinnie lifts the Scottish Cup. Aberdeen's first Scottish Cup lift in 35 years. To the delight of the more than 20,000 here, to the delight of a city. It's been a long time coming. And against all the odds, the cup is clad in red and white.